Good morning, folks. Mike Bertinoli, Great Basin Team 3 Planning Operations Trainee. I have an operational update for the Monroe Canyon fire on July 25th. Let's start into it. We'll start down south end of the fire. Our fire got a little bit more active yesterday. I imagine folks from town see we started to put up more smoke. And it's been anticipated. We're working into much hotter and drier conditions that are going to be present for the next several days. So our firefighters have got a job in front of them to keep fire out of some of these subdivisions I'm going to talk about as the days advance. So, southern end of the map, Monroe Meadows, we've been working this country for several days now, and it's looking great in there to the point where we've got some containment. Additionally, our crews are going to continue to work down to the southeast and develop line on that map as it goes. Yesterday afternoon, we started to see a lot of activity in Monkey Flat Ridge. And this fire is in really steep, dangerous country. So what we're doing is allowing that fire to come down to the south into ground that's more favorable to work. What we'll do is work a road system off of 62 to put in what I've talked about over the several days, indirect lines. So we'll back off from the fire and put in a hard containment line that we can either allow the fire back to, or we can put fire on the ground and move up towards that fire to contain all that vegetation. Let's go ahead and scroll up, Matt. Move on to the west side of the fire. We've been working this for quite a while with just firefighters on the ground, digging hand line down around here towards Hunts Lake. Just about done with that, and you can see it because our containment line is starting to turn black as we move down towards that. When we get to Hunts Lake, we've put a dozer line in out here to the west, and then we'll take this drainage system to the east and do one of those indirect lines. So as this fire backs down that hill, we essentially create a catcher's mitt for us to work. All right, let's go north. A lot of activity in here yesterday. I've talked at length for days about all the structure protection work that we've done in the communities of Magleby, Long Flat, Bagleys, Porters, Elk Country Estates. That work is completed and looks great, and our firefighters are ready to accept fire if it moves in there and be prepared to jump on any spots, keep structures wet, well prepared. So, tactically, into the Monroe Canyon. This is where you saw your fire get very active yesterday afternoon. We didn't have hard lines in there because it's hard ground to work in. So you're starting to see the fire come north of this Monroe Creek and get into harder fuels out in front of the fire. So what we've done is put an indirect line that runs north and south to protect this community of Magleby. So over the coming days, you're going to see us do a lot of different options. We're going to jump in with firefighters and go work around these spot fires as they present themselves, but also we're going to introduce fire from the north to the south along this line to keep up with that fire as it advances. Yeah, our firefighters in for a pretty couple of tough days here, but we're well prepared to deal with that. Let's go ahead and move south. Monroe Meadows, if you remember way back to the start of this fire had moved through this. We cleaned up all the structures around it, just made sure that they were defensible and weren't going to be impacted by future threat. It looks great. Additionally, yesterday we finished up a firing operation along this Cusharon Pasture Road. And what we've done is brought fire to that road, taking care of all the hot spots that are in there. And so as long as that operation holds for the next couple of days, this piece of ground is going to be locked up and no worries into the future. Let's just go south one last time. You're seeing our black containment line develop as we move to the south back into Zulu. Anticipate that happening again over the next coming days. And then I'll finish with our night shift is out and about, just making sure everything we do during the day stays in place at night. And then we also have folks working in Bear Valley Contingency Group far out to the west side of the fire. And they're brushing roads and chipping roads to protect the communities of Burrville and Cusharon. So I'll just finish with a lot going on the fire. You're going to see more activity over the coming days with the hot and dry weather we've got. we're out there doing our best. Thank you, folks.